Hey everyone, and welcome to The Deep Dive.
Hello.
Before we get started today, just a quick reminder, if you're looking for more great English learning content, definitely check out and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, loads of really practical stuff over there.
Absolutely. So welcome. Today, we're doing what we call The Deep Dive.
Which means we take some source material, in this case, a really interesting YouTube video, and we dive deep into it.
Exactly. We're pulling out the valuable knowledge, the insights, tailored specifically for you, the listener, to help with your English learning.
And today's source, it's excerpts from a YouTube video called English Listening Practice to Improve Speaking Daily Conversations for English Learning. It's from the English Easy Practice channel.
Right, and what's great about this video and why we chose it is that it focuses on everyday English conversations, real situations, real language.
Not just textbook examples, but how people actually talk. It also touches on vocabulary learning, which is, always crucial.
So our mission today, our goal for this deep dive, is to really explore the practical English learning techniques presented in this video.
And also to dig into the insights we can get about common English expressions, idioms, phrasal verbs, that kind of thing. Why these specific phrases? How are they used?
It's about understanding the context, the usage, not just the definition. We want to give you that richer understanding.
Okay, so where should we start? The video covers quite a few conversations.
Let's kick off with something I think pretty much everyone can relate to these days. Binge watching.
Ah, yes. The endless scroll, the just one more episode feeling.
Totally. The video starts with a chat between Lucas and Emily. They're talking about their favorite shows to binge.
Right. Lucas is into Stranger Things.
It was huge, obviously.
Yeah, and Emily likes Friends. A total classic. Different tastes, but the same activity.
And they talk about how often they actually, binge watch.
That was interesting. Lucas said maybe, once or twice a month? Depending on his schedule, I think.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
But Emily?
Emily's more like, every weekend. That's quite a difference in habit, isn't it?
It really is. It shows how people fit entertainment into their lives differently. Some see it as an occasional treat, others maybe more of a regular weekend thing.
And the quantity, how many episodes at once?
They both seem to land around 3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 episodes seem typical for them, but they did say sometimes more.
If you're really hooked,
right?
We've all been there. That cliffhanger ending just pulls you into the next one.
Definitely. But what I found really useful, especially for language learners listening in, was their discussion on the pros and cons.
Oh, yeah, they got into that. What were the positives again?
Well, the main one was, no waiting. You get the whole story or a big chunk of it right away. Instant gratification, kind of.
True. No agonizing week-long waits for the next episode like old school TV.
Exactly. But then the negatives.
Right, the downsides. They mentioned things like neglecting other stuff.
Yeah, like studying or exercising or chores. Basically, life admin gets pushed aside.
Which is a real danger of getting too sucked in.
Yeah.
It highlights that need for balance.
That's the key word, balance.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how this everyday chat about TV naturally leads to a discussion about, lifestyle choices and time management.
And that's valuable language in itself, isn't it? Learning how to talk about those trade-offs, those priorities in English.
Absolutely. It's practical. And something else the video did, or the channel does.
What's that?
They actually encourage viewers in the comments to share their own thoughts on binge watching.
Oh, that's smart, making it interactive.
Yeah, it turns passive watching into active engagement. You're not just listening, you're prompted to think about it and maybe even, type out your own opinion in English.
That's a great way to practice. Build a bit of a community around learning, too.
Precisely. Okay, should we move on from the couch and maybe head to the office? Metaphorically speaking.
Sounds good. The next conversation snippet tackles a workplace scenario.
Right. This one's between Jack and Sarah, and it introduces an important idiom, burning bridges.
Burning bridges. That's a really evocative phrase. What's the basic meaning for anyone who hasn't heard it?
Essentially, it means acting in a way, usually when leaving a job or ending a relationship, that destroys any possibility of having a positive connection or going back in the future.
Like setting fire to the bridge behind you so you can't cross back over. Very final.
Exactly. And the context here is Jack has just left his job. A marketing firm, I think.
Yeah, and he left because of disagreements with his boss.
And he's worried. He thinks he might have, burned some bridges on his way out.
Which suggests the departure wasn't exactly smooth sailing. Maybe some harsh words were exchanged or things weren't handled diplomatically.
That's the implication, yeah. It raises questions about professional conduct, how you handle conflict, how you exit a role.
And Sarah's response really spills out the potential negative consequences, doesn't it?
It does. She points out quite rightly that burning bridges can make it harder to find new opportunities later.
Because your network is so important, right? Recommendations, referrals, even just people knowing you left on good terms.
Absolutely. Your professional reputation follows you. So maintaining those connections, even if a specific job didn't work out, is usually the smarter long-term play.
Definitely. Try to leave doors open, not slam them shut.
But there's maybe a nuance here too, based on what Jack says.
What's that?
He mentions feeling like he had to stand up for his beliefs.
Ah, okay. So it wasn't just a petty argument, potentially. Maybe there was a bigger principle involved for him.
It adds that layer of complexity. Sometimes standing firm on something you believe is right might, unfortunately, lead to a less amicable split. It's not always just about being difficult. It could be about integrity.
That's a really good point. It's that difficult balance, isn't it, between, maintaining politeness and standing your ground on something important.
It is, and Sarah does offer some sensible advice.
What does she suggest?
Basically, learn from the experience. Maybe be a bit more careful, more strategic in navigating those kinds of conflicts in the future.
Good advice. You live and learn. And didn't Sarah also mention something positive?
Oh, yeah, a little bright spot. She mentioned she's really enjoying her new job.
So it kind of ends on a slightly more upbeat note for her, providing a nice contrast to Jack's current worries.
Yeah, a little reminder that career challenges happen, but new positive opportunities are out there too.
Okay, so from workplace idioms to something much more everyday and casual.
Let's switch gears. The next one is call it a day.
Ah, love this one. Use it all the time. It basically just means stop working, right? Finish up for the day.
Pretty much. Stop doing whatever activity you've been engaged in, usually work, because you're tired or you feel you've done enough.
And the conversation is between Alex and Hannah.
That's right. And they both sound, well, pretty wiped out after a busy day.
That shared feeling of, okay, I'm done. It's so relatable.
Totally. And this phrase, call it a day, perfectly encapsulates that feeling. It's the signal to switch off work mode.
What I liked about this little exchange in the video was how spontaneous the next step was.
The dinner plan.
Yeah. They both say they're tired, let's call it a day, and then almost immediately it's like, hey, want to grab dinner?
And the specific craving pasta or pizza. Classic comfort food after a long day.
Who hasn't felt that? It just shows how that phrase, call it a day, can be a natural trigger. Okay, work's over, what's next?
Exactly. It opens up the evening for other possibilities. And their quick agreement on an Italian place, setting a time, it shows how easily social plans can just emerge from that shared end-of-work feeling.
It's those simple, low-pressure interactions that are so common. Really useful language for learners to pick up on.
Definitely helps you sound more natural in those everyday moments. Okay, next scenario involves travel plans.
Right, this is Sarah again, but talking to Tim this time. And she's getting ready for a hiking trip.
And this brings in the idiom, hit the road.
Hit the road. Another really common one. It just means to start a journey, to leave, right?
To begin traveling. And here, Sarah's literally about to leave for her trip. So it's a very direct use.
And we get a few details. She's off to the mountains.
Yeah, mountains, going hiking with friends for the weekend. Nice, clear context for the idiom.
And Tim gives her some practical advice, doesn't he?
He does. Reminds her to pack warm clothes. Such a typical, friendly, thoughtful thing to say.
Like a little checklist reminder.
Yeah.
And Sarah confirms she's got her jacket, her boots. She's all set.
Adds that touch of realism. She's prepared.
How long is the trip again?
Just the weekend. Back Sunday evening, I think she says.
Okay. And Tim wishes her well, and she promises pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Just a nice, friendly send-off. Short, sweet, but effectively shows hit the road in a very natural context.
Simple but useful. Okay, what's next on the list? Dealing with invitations.
Right. This involves Tom and Sarah again and a party invitation. And the key phrase here is the phrasal verb turn down.
Turn down. Pretty straightforward meaning. To refuse or decline something, like an offer or an invitation.
Yep. But what makes this conversation interesting is Tom's hesitation. He doesn't just say, no thanks.
Why not? Does he want to go?
It seems like he might want to, but he can't. He says he has a lot of work. A deadline is looming.
The classic conflict, social life versus responsibilities.
Exactly. That feeling of wanting to do something fun, but knowing you really need to prioritize work or study. We've all been there, having to turn down something appealing.
He even says something like, I don't like turning down invitations.
Right. He does, which really emphasizes it's not about a lack of desire, but a sense of obligation to his work.
So how does Sarah take it?
She's really understanding, which is great, and she immediately suggests rescheduling.
Nice. What does she suggest?
A movie night, maybe the following weekend.
That's a really good way to handle it. It softens the refusal, keeps the connection open. Okay, can't make this, but let's definitely do something else soon.
Yeah, exactly. It shows you value the person and the invitation, even if the timing doesn't work right now. Great communication skill to model.
Definitely smooths things over. Okay, moving from planned events or declined events to chance encounters.
Yes. This one involves Mark and Sarah and the phrasal verb run into.
Run into. I like this one. It implies surprise, doesn't it? Meeting someone unexpectedly.
Precisely. Meeting someone by chance without any prior arrangement.
And Mark's story is a perfect example.
Yep. He met unexpectedly, an old teammate from his high school soccer team, someone named Tom.
Wow, after how long?
Says he hadn't seen him in years, so a real surprise meeting.
And was it a good experience?
Yeah, Mark says, it was nice catching up. It highlights that pleasant surprise element these encounters often have. Reconnecting, reminiscing a bit.
It's funny how those things happen. And Sarah shares a similar story too, right?
So she does. She mentions running into her old elementary school teacher.
Oh, wow. That must bring back memories.
Exactly. She talks about that nostalgic feeling. And interestingly, she also uses the phrase bump into, which is basically a synonym for run into.
Ah, good point. Shows there's often more than one way to say something in English. Useful for learners to see that flexibility.
Definitely. These unexpected meetings can be really quite nice, can't they? A little jolt of connection from the past.
They can. Okay, what about something less pleasant, like homework?
Yes, the next conversation is Jake and Sam talking about homework, and it introduces the phrasal verb put off.
Put off, the procrastinator's favorite phrasal verb. It means to postpone or delay doing something.
That's it. And often it implies you're delaying it because, well, you don't really want to do it.
And that seems to be Jake's situation here.
Totally. He's putting off his homework because he finds it boring.
And what would he rather be doing? Let me guess.
Video games. Classic dilemma. Boring, but necessary task versus fun distraction.
The eternal struggle. So how does Sam respond? Does he enable the procrastination?
No, Sam's the voice of reason here. He gently points out that putting it off now just means more stress later.
Good point. It usually catches up with you.
It does. But what's really constructive is their solution.
Oh, they find a way forward.
Yeah, Sam suggests they tackle the homework together. Make it less of a chore, maybe more bearable.
Teamwork. That's a great idea. Does it work?
It seems like they agree to it.
Right.
Do it together, make it maybe a bit more enjoyable, and then play video games afterwards, guilt-free.
That's the dream. Get the work done, then relax properly. It shows how collaboration can help overcome that urge to put things off.
Exactly. Peer support and finding ways to make tasks more palatable. Great strategy.
Okay, so from putting off work to maybe taking on too much work.
Yes. The next idiom is bite off more than you can chew. Tom and Lisa are discussing Tom's new job.
Bite off more than you can chew. Such a visual idiom, like trying to eat something way too big. So it means taking on too much responsibility.
Precisely. Trying to do something that's too difficult, or handling too many tasks at once, leading to feeling overwhelmed or struggling to cope.
And Tom is feeling this way about a new project at his job.
Seems like it. He's feeling overwhelmed by the workload. Maybe he underestimated what was involved or just got assigned too much. He feels like he's bitten off more than he can chew.
A stressful feeling.
Yeah.
How does Lisa respond?
She offers some really practical advice, very supportive.
Like what?
She suggests asking for help, or alternatively, breaking the huge project down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Both solid strategies for dealing with overwhelm. Don't try to swallow it whole, basically.
Exactly. It's a reminder that it's okay to seek assistance or adjust your approach when you're feeling swamped.
And is Tom receptive to this?
Yeah, he seems committed to finding a solution, even though he's feeling the pressure. And Lisa encourages him, reinforcing that these challenges are solvable.
It's important to remember that asking for help isn't weakness, right?
Yeah.
It's often strategic.
Absolutely. Recognizing your limits and seeking support is actually a sign of strength and self-awareness. Okay, let's shift from workplace stress to social awkwardness.
Huh. Okay. What's the situation?
It's Tom and Emily at some kind of social event, maybe a party, and they're just meeting. This brings up break the ice.
Break the ice. Crucial social skill. It means initiating conversation, right? Getting past that initial shyness or awkwardness.
Exactly. Making people feel more comfortable and facilitating interaction when they first meet.
And in this scenario, Emily admits she's feeling a bit shy.
Yeah, which makes Tom's attempt to break the ice even more relevant. He takes the initiative to start chatting and put her at ease.
Smart move. What does he talk about? The weather.
Maybe. But the video highlights them talking about hobbies, reading, movies, sports, hiking. Classic icebreaker topics.
Finding common ground. That's key, isn't it? Something you can both connect over.
Definitely. And it works. They discover a shared interest, and then Tom suggests exchanging book recommendations.
Oh, that's a great follow-up. It takes it beyond just the initial chat and offers a concrete next step for connecting later.
Exactly. It shows how successfully breaking the ice can lead to a more meaningful interaction. He navigated that initial potential awkwardness really well.
Good example. Okay, from smooth social sailing to a tech disaster.
Something like that. Jake's computer crashes, leading to a conversation with Sarah about the idiom, "Don't cry over spilled milk."
Don't cry over spilled milk. A classic piece of advice. It means don't get upset about something bad that's already happened and can't be changed, right?
That's the gist. Accept it and move on. No use dwelling on the irreversible.
And Jake is, understandably, pretty upset.
Yeah, his laptop crashed and he lost his work. We've all felt that pain. Losing unsafe progress is just, ugh.
So frustrating. How does Sarah respond? Does she just tell him to get over it?
No, she's more constructive than that. She embodies the idiom. She acknowledges his frustration, validates his feelings, but then immediately shifts focus.
Shifts focus to what?
To solutions. She asks if maybe the files can be recovered. Offers to help him try.
Okay. So acknowledging the problem, but focusing on what can be done now, rather than just the loss.
Exactly. She's not dismissing his feelings, but she's guiding him away from dwelling on the spilled milk and towards potential recovery or next steps. It's about resilience and problem solving.
That positive, proactive attitude is really helpful in those moments, much better than just wallowing.
For sure. Okay, next up, we're pulling an all-nighter, or someone is.
Oh, this sounds like the idiom, burn the midnight oil.
You got it. Mark and Emily are talking late at night. Mark is studying.
Burn the midnight oil means working or studying late into the night, doesn't it? Like using lamplight back in the day.
Precisely. Often implies pressure, like a deadline is approaching.
And that's Mark's situation.
Yep. He has an SO due for Professor Smith, and he says he's not even halfway through. So late night is definitely required.
Oof. Been there. Do we know what the essay is about?
The impact of technology on society, a pretty big topic, could definitely require some late-night effort.
No kidding. Does Emily sympathize?
Yeah, they seem to share that experience of having to work late sometimes. There's a sense of camaraderie. She offers some words of encouragement.
That helps, doesn't it? Knowing you're not the only one slogging away late at night. That shared student experience.
Definitely. It makes those long nights feel a little less isolating. Okay, let's switch from late night studying to efficient communication.
All right, what's the phrase?
Cut to the chase.
Cut to the chase. Get straight to the point, right?
Yeah.
Skip the small talk. Get down to business.
Exactly. Be direct. Avoid unnecessary details. Focus on the main issue.
And the scenario involves a customer buying a laptop.
Yes. Chris, who seems to be a sales assistant, is talking to a customer, and Chris uses this approach.
So instead of a long preamble, Chris just asks the important questions.
Pretty much. What's your budget? What will you use it for? Work, design, casual gaming, preferred operating system, portability important.
Straight to the essentials, trying to quickly narrow down the options.
And then follows up with specifics like storage needs, RAM, gathering all the key info efficiently.
It makes sense in a sales or service context, right?
Oh,
You want to solve the customer's problem or meet their need quickly.
absolutely. It respects their time and focuses on the goal. Very practical idiom.
Okay, from being direct to making sure everyone's aligned. What's next?
The expression on the same page.
Crucial for teamwork. On the same page means everyone understands and agrees on something, right? Shared understanding.
That's it. Everyone's aligned, knows the plan, shares the same information or perspective.
And the conversation is Mark and Sophie working on a school project.
Yes, they're in the early stages brainstorming ideas.
And they realize the importance of being on the same page.
It seems so. They plan to meet up specifically to share their ideas and make sure they have that mutual understanding before they dive too deep into the work.
Smart move. Avoids going off in different directions. Do they agree on the main goals?
Yeah, they explicitly mention wanting the presentation to be clear and interesting, so they establish that shared objective.
Good start. And they plan to make a checklist too.
They do. which is another great way to ensure they stay aligned throughout the project. Keep checking in, make sure everyone's still heading the same way.
Prevents misunderstandings later.
Yeah.
Very important for collaboration. Okay, what follows that?
We have Tom encouraging Amy to join a gym using the idiom, a piece of cake.
A piece of cake.
Yeah.
Means something is really easy, right? Effortless.
Exactly. Like eating cake generally considered enjoyable and not difficult.
So Tom found joining the gym easy.
Apparently so. He's really positive about his experience and uses the phrase to reassure Amy, saying it's not hard at all, trying to make it seem less intimidating for her.
Does he offer any tips?
Yeah, some good beginner advice. Start slow, be consistent, sensible stuff.
Makes it sound more manageable. And he keeps saying it's a piece of cake.
He does. It's clearly meant to encourage her, to alleviate any anxiety she might have about starting. Don't worry, you can totally do this. It's easy.
It's about framing something potentially challenging as achievable. Okay, next up, a bit more serious budget reports.
Yes, a conversation between Tina and Chris involving a discrepancy in a budget report and the idiom, the ball is in your court.
The ball is in your court. Okay, that means it's now someone else's turn to act or make a decision, doesn't it? The responsibility has shifted.
Precisely. It's up to the other person to take the next step.
So in this context, Chris has found a problem.
Yeah, he's noticed a discrepancy and asks Tina to review the numbers. So he's passed the responsibility, the action required, over to her.
The ball is now in Tina's court to investigate. Does he give her any specifics?
He does. He flags the travel expenses as the area of concern, gives her a clear starting point.
That helps. And is there a deadline?
Yep, he asks her to look into it by tomorrow, so it adds a bit of urgency. Chris is now waiting for Tina's action.
Very clear way to delegate and set expectations. Okay, another chance encounter next.
Seems like it. Jenny and Mark meeting unexpectedly, and the phrase is, long time no see.
Ah, long time no see. The classic greeting when you bump into someone you haven't seen for ages.
Exactly. Acknowledges the gap since you last met. Very common, very informal.
And Jenny just showed up spontaneously.
Yeah, and they immediately make plans to grab coffee and catch up. It's that natural, friendly reconnection.
Simple phrase, but instantly recognizable and sets a friendly tone. Okay, what about someone feeling discouraged?
That leads us to Tom talking to Lisa about his job search and the idiom, throw in the towel.
Throw in the towel.
I
Means to
betcha.
give up, right? To surrender.
Yes, exactly. Comes from boxing. As the video mentions, throwing the towel into the ring signals defeat. It means quitting when things get too tough.
And Tom is feeling like doing that with his job search.
It sounds like it. He's sent out loads of resumes but isn't getting callbacks. He's frustrated, discouraged, feeling ready to give up.
That's a tough spot to be in. How does Lisa react? Does she agree it's hopeless?
No, quite the opposite. She's really encouraging. Tells him to persevere, not to give up.
That's good. Does she offer any practical help?
She does. She offers to review his resume for him.
Oh, that's incredibly helpful. Sometimes a fresh pair of eyes can make a big difference.
Totally. Her encouragement combined with that practical offer is exactly what someone in Tom's position needs. It's about resilience, not letting setbacks completely derail you.
Really emphasizes the importance of support systems, too. Okay, hopefully something more positive next.
Yes, a much smoother experience. Jake describing his workday to Emily using the idiom like clockwork.
Like clockwork. Means everything went smoothly, predictably, regularly, like the gears of a clock.
Exactly. No problems, no delays. Everything happened precisely as planned or expected. Very orderly and efficient.
And Jake's day went like that.
Apparently so. He describes it as smooth, just like clockwork.
Did he mention anything specific?
Yeah, he finished a challenging project right on time, which reinforces that idea of things going exactly according to plan. No hiccups.
Nice when that happens. Do they talk about routine?
Briefly, they touch on how pleasant it can be when days are routine and predictable. Sometimes smooth and uneventful is exactly what you need. Less stress.
True. And they're hopeful for the next day, too.
Yeah, they express hope that the following day will go just as smoothly. Shows they appreciate that sense of order.
Great example of that idiom.
Yeah.
Now, the video then shifts a bit, right? It starts focusing more explicitly on vocabulary.
It does. After illustrating all these phrases in conversation, it pulls some out for dedicated vocabulary learning.
So it revisits like clockwork, like as we just discussed. What else?
It covers wrapped it up and here's to hoping.
Okay, wrapped it up. That means finished something, completed a task.
Yes. The example was something like, after working hard all day, I finally wrapped up the project. Very common, informal way to say you finished.
Got it. And here's to hoping.
Hmm.
That sounds like expressing optimism.
Exactly. Expressing a wish or hope for a positive future outcome. The example was about hoping for good weather for a picnic. Here's to hoping for good weather.
It's like a little toast to a hopeful future event. These focused vocabulary sections seem really helpful.
They are. They let you zoom in on the phrase, see its meaning clearly defined, and get an example sentence outside the flow of conversation. Helps it stick.
And after the vocab focus, there's a practice section.
Yes, a listen and answer practice. This is really important for active learning.
How does that work?
Viewers listen to the conversations again, or parts of them, and then they're asked comprehension questions. They're encouraged to answer aloud before the answer appears on screen.
So testing recall and understanding, like for the clockwork conversation, what kind of questions?
Simple ones like, did everything go smoothly for Jake, like clockwork?
Yes.
Right, or what did Jake do about his project?
Answer. He wrapped it up.
Exactly. It forces you to actively retrieve the information, which really reinforces learning. Much more than just passive listening. And it's speaking practice, too.
Good point. Active recall is key. And there's one more practice technique covered.
Yes, the final section is on shadowing practice.
Shadowing. What does that involve?
It's where you listen to a native speaker and try to repeat exactly what they're saying as they're saying it or immediately after, like being their echo.
Focusing on pronunciation and intonation.
Precisely. Mimicking the rhythm, the stress patterns, the melody of the language, not just the words.
So you're training your mouth and ears simultaneously.
That's a good way to put it. The video encourages viewers to pay close attention to how the speakers sound, the pauses, the connections between words, the rise and fall of their voice.
Sounds challenging, but effective for improving fluency and sounding more natural.
It really is. It helps you internalize the natural flow of spoken English. The video suggests doing it daily for a week for noticeable improvement.
Which brings us back to a key theme, right? Consistency?
Absolutely. Consistent practice, consistent exposure. That's really the core message underscored by all these different sections and techniques in the video.
Listening, understanding context, focusing on vocabulary, actively recalling, practicing pronunciation through shadowing. It's a whole package.
It is. And by using these everyday, relatable conversations as the base, the English Easy Practice channel makes the learning process feel very accessible and, well, practical.
You're learning language you can actually imagine yourself using.
And beyond the language itself, you're absorbing little bits about interaction, about cultural norms embedded in these simple exchanges, how people encourage each other, how they navigate disagreement, how they make plans.
It's language in action, not just language in a list. So thinking about our listeners, what's the big takeaway from diving into this material?
Well, hopefully you now have a much clearer grasp of these common expressions, what they mean, but more importantly, how and when they're used in real conversations.
And maybe feeling a bit more confident about trying to use them yourself.
That's the goal. Even just consciously trying to slip one or two of these phrases, maybe call it a day, or run into your own English conversations this week.
Could make a subtle difference, couldn't it? It might shift how you communicate, how you connect.
Definitely. So maybe a provocative thought for you, the listener, is this. How can you actively start weaving some of these everyday phrases into your interactions?
Where do opportunities arise in your day to, say, cut to the chase, or acknowledge you need to avoid biting off more than you can chew?
Think about those situations, and then maybe just try it. Experimenting is key. Using the language makes it yours. It builds confidence far more than just memorizing.
It really does. Taking that step from passive knowledge to active use, that's where the magic happens.
And remember, it's a journey. Resources like the one we looked at today, focusing on practical, real-world English, are incredibly valuable tools to help you along the way. Keep exploring them.
Well, that feels like a good place to wrap up this particular deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you. It's been great exploring these conversations and hopefully pulling out some useful insights for your English learning.
We really hope you found it beneficial and got some practical ideas you can use.
Definitely. Keep listening, keep practicing.
And maybe just one final thought to leave you with. Pay attention to those everyday conversations around you, or the ones you hear in English media. Think about the phrases people use, like the ones we discussed.
There's so much subtle learning available just by actively noticing how people really talk. Those seemingly simple exchanges are packed with linguistic and cultural information.
Absolutely. Keep your ears open.
Indeed. Keep learning, keep engaging.
And one last time, before we sign off, if you enjoyed this deep dive, please do consider subscribing to the English Easy Here YouTube channel for more fantastic English learning videos and resources.
You won't regret it.
Thanks again for tuning in to The Deep Dive. Hey you, and welcome back to The Deep Dive. Before we get started today, just a really quick thing. If you're enjoying these deep dives, finding them useful, please do pop over to the English Easy Here YouTube channel and hit subscribe. It honestly makes a huge difference for us.
It really does. So today we're diving into something quite interesting. It's a transcript from a YouTube video called the 21-Day English Speaking Challenge from the channel Club James Studios English Speaking Video.
Right. And what's fascinating is this isn't just about learning English. You know, it's like a blueprint for someone's entire day.
Exactly. It covers so much ground, daily routines, how they tackle productivity, what they do for fun, self-care, social stuff, even personal growth. It's surprisingly comprehensive.
Yeah, totally. From the moment they wake up, listening to podcasts, right through to, winding down at night, we're basically going to extract all the key bits for you.
So for you, the learner, this is designed to be efficient. We pull out the core ideas, look at them from a few angles, hopefully give you some valuable insights without you having to sift through hours of content yourself.
Yeah, we'll try and keep it interesting, maybe even find a few surprising things along the way. I'm here to, guide us through, make it engaging.
And I'll be here offering a bit more analysis, sort of connecting the dots and looking at the bigger picture behind these daily habits and strategies.
Okay, cool. So this transcript, where does it kick off? The morning, I assume.
It does. It starts right at the beginning with the morning routine. And what's immediately apparent is how deliberate it all feels. It's not just random actions. There's intention there.
Right. Like they talk about fueling their morning, listening to podcasts, or uplifting music while eating breakfast. That's a great phrase, isn't it? Setting the tone.
It is. And it's efficient, too, combining nourishment with mental stimulation or positivity right from the start.
Then they move on to reviewing their schedule and to-do list, getting organized early.
Which seems crucial. That proactive planning sets the stage for the whole day, doesn't it? Getting a handle on what's coming up.
Definitely. And interestingly, it's not just about tasks. They actually build in time for mindfulness or meditation.
Mm-hmm. For mental clarity. That's something you hear about a lot, the benefits of starting the day centered. Seeing it explicitly in a routine like this is quite telling.
Yeah, it highlights that mental prep is just as important as, figuring out your tasks.
And then there's the practical step of choosing an outfit. Seems minor, maybe.
But it's part of feeling ready, isn't it? Like putting on your armor for the day, feeling confident.
I think so. It contributes to that overall sense of preparedness. And then there's a moment for gratitude and setting a positive intention.
That's a really nice touch, actively cultivating that positive mindset.
And there's research to back that up, Starting with gratitude can genuinely impact your outlook and resilience.
Makes sense. Okay, so after that.
The commute, and again, it's not dead time. They're listening to audiobooks or playlists. Making use of that time.
Turning commute dread into something useful or enjoyable. Smart.
An arrival, greeting colleagues or classmates. Those little social connections right at the start.
Yeah, setting a positive social tone for the workspace or classroom.
And then, crucially, movement breaks, short walks, stretching, and hydration are built in.
Oh, good reminders for all of us.
Yeah.
So easy to get stuck at a desk. And water, always forget that.
Absolutely fundamental for energy and focus. And the last part of the morning setup is checking emails, dealing with urgent messages.
Right, getting those immediate priorities sorted so you can focus on the main tasks. Establishes control.
Exactly. It sets the stage for a productive work or study session, which leads us nicely into the next section. The work or study routine itself.
Okay, let's unpack that. So it starts with establishing a defined routine at work or school, like organizing your space, setting priorities.
Yes, foundational stuff. A clear workspace minimizes distractions, and clear priorities mean you're tackling the important things first. These are, core productivity principles.
And for students, it mentions attending lectures and actively participating, not just sitting there.
That active engagement is key for learning, isn't it? Really processing the information. And similarly, in the work context, meetings are highlighted for collaboration and updates.
So communication and teamwork are central in both environments.
Precisely. And school projects are mentioned too. Research, writing, group meetings, very much mirrors project work in a professional setting sometimes.
Yeah, you can see the parallels. Structured tasks, collaboration, managing deadlines.
And even lunch breaks aren't just about eating. They're framed as a chance to recharge and socialize with colleagues. Good for morale.
Or for students, those short breaks between classes, reviewing notes, prepping for the next thing. grabbing a snack, using those small pockets of time.
Those little breaks are so important for avoiding mental fatigue, aren't they? Keeping focus sharp.
Definitely. Then the afternoons seem more focused on specific tasks, data analysis, or client stuff at work, homework after school.
Right, dedicating blocks of time to focused work. And deadlines are mentioned as a driver for efficiency.
But importantly, they also mention scheduled breaks to prevent burnout. That balance again.
Crucial. Sustainable productivity isn't about grinding nonstop. It needs those periods of rest and recovery built in. You can't just power through indefinitely.
So true. Okay, so after the work or study block, how does the evening routine shape up?
Well, the transition seems quite intentional. It starts with discussing the day, connecting with others, or maybe just reflecting internally, a way to decompress.
That sounds healthy. Processing the day before, diving into the evening.
Yeah.
And then dinner prep. Quick and nutritious is the focus.
It seems so. But also, there's an element of enjoyment mentioned, experimenting with new recipes, trying different cuisines. It's not just fuel.
Makes it less of a chore, I suppose. Add some creativity.
Exactly. And they mentioned Sunday meal prepping as a strategy for the week ahead.
Ah, the classic meal prep. Saves time during the week, keeps things healthy when you're tired. Makes sense.
It's very practical. Hydration is mentioned, again, throughout the day, but they also acknowledge occasional comfort food in moderation.
Good. Balance, not deprivation. And the diet is vegetarian.
Yes, focusing on plant-based proteins, beans, tofu, lentils are mentioned specifically.
Okay. And cooking itself is described as, what? Therapeutic and creative.
Yeah, reframing it from a necessity to an enjoyable activity. And mindful eating gets a mention too, appreciating flavors and textures.
Being present with your food. We could all probably do more of that. And international dishes, again, that exploration theme.
And one last point here, breakfast or brunch meetings as networking opportunities. Blending social and professional.
Right, so life isn't strictly compartmentalized. Interesting. Okay, how about exercise? That's usually a big part of routines.
It is, and the approach here is interesting. The focus is on consistency over excessive intensity, efficient calorie burning through regular activity.
So making it sustainable, something you can stick with long term, rather than going all out and burning out.
That seems to be the idea. They also use fitness apps or smartwatches for tracking and motivation. Technology playing a role.
Makes sense. Data can be motivating, and they do cross-training in group classes, like spinning or dance.
Yes, which adds variety and that social element. Group classes can be really motivating for some people.
Yeah, the shared energy and accountability, maybe.
Definitely. And crucially, scheduled rest days are included. Recovery is part of the plan.
Again, that sustainable approach, not pushing constantly.
And varying the routine is mentioned, plus incorporating short walks and stretching throughout the day, not just in dedicated workout times.
So it's about overall activity levels, not just the gym session. Those little bits add up.
They really do. And having a workout partner gets a mention too for accountability and fun.
Makes it less of a solo slog sometimes.
And the final point on exercise is reflecting on the mental and physical benefits. Understanding why you're doing it helps prioritize it consistently.
Connecting to the purpose. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, this transcript seems packed with strategies. Let's talk productivity. That's always a big one.
Absolutely. And it starts with the fundamentals. Creating to-do lists and prioritizing tasks. Still effective.
Can't beat a good list. Gives you clarity. And prioritization is key. Knowing what needs doing first.
And then breaking down large tasks. That's a classic technique, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Makes those monster projects feel less scary. Bite-sized chunks.
Exactly. It combats procrastination and helps build momentum. Little wins along the way. Time blocking is another strategy mentioned.
Scheduling specific times for specific tasks. Being really intentional with your calendar.
Yes. And setting realistic, achievable goals. Not setting yourself up for failure by aiming too high too soon.
Right, that can be really demotivating if you constantly miss unrealistic targets. Keep it achievable.
And they mentioned using productivity apps for task management, deadlines, team collaboration. Leveraging technology again.
Makes sense in the modern world. The Pomodoro technique also gets a mention.
Ah, yes. The focused work bursts 25 minutes on, short break, really helps with concentration for a lot of people.
And organizing the workspace to minimize distractions. Simple, but effective. Tidy desk, tidy mind.
Something like that. A clear space often helps clear the head. They also mention prioritizing using the Eisenhower matrix.
Urgent versus important, that 4-quadrant grid.
That's the one. Helps you decide what really needs your attention now, what can be scheduled, delegated, or even eliminated. A great framework.
Yeah, very useful. And the 2-minute rule.
If it takes less than 2 minutes, just do it now. Don't let those tiny tasks pile up and clutter your list or your mind.
Good advice. Just get it done. They also emphasize regularly reviewing and adjusting goals.
Because things change, right? Priorities shift. You need to adapt your plans. It's an ongoing process, not a one-time setup.
True. And mindfulness and meditation come up again here, specifically for focus and stress reduction during the workday.
Linking mental well-being directly to productivity. And setting specific deadlines, as mentioned, creates urgency. Plus, the eat the frog principle.
Tackling the hardest task first thing. Get it out of the way.
Exactly. Builds huge momentum for the rest of the day if you can manage it. Collaboration using communication platforms is noted for teamwork.
And those short breaks for rejuvenation again, that theme of balance and avoiding burnout, it's woven throughout.
It really is. Sustainable performance requires self-care. Delegating tasks where possible is mentioned.
Using keyboard shortcuts and automation tools, finding those little efficiencies.
They all add up over time, freeing up mental bandwidth. Scheduling regular review sessions to assess progress and adjust strategies. Continuous improvement.
And the final point really sums it up. Prioritizing self-care, sleep, exercise for well-being, alongside continuous learning to keep skills sharp. It's holistic.
It really is. True productivity isn't just about output, it's about maintaining your capacity and growing. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. What about leisure? What do they do for fun?
Yes, the fun stuff. It's a pretty diverse list. Reading novels, various genres, classic way to unwind and escape.
And learn. Fiction offers so much. Photography is mentioned too. Creative outlet.
Yeah, capturing moments, seeing things differently. Board games are on the list too. Social and fun.
Great for interaction, strategy, good way to connect, social gatherings, obviously connecting with people.
And travel, exploring new places, different cultures.
Yeah.
Hugely enriching.
Absolutely. Broadens horizons like nothing else. Volunteering is mentioned as well. Giving back.
That provides a different kind of fulfillment, doesn't it? Purpose and connection. Writing stories or poetry is listed, more creative self-expression.
Can be very therapeutic, processing thoughts and feelings that way. Meditation and mindfulness pop up again, but here as a leisure activity for inner peace.
Interesting how it serves multiple functions. Bird watching is on the list too.
Mm-hmm.
Calming, connecting with nature.
Encourages patience, observation, a nice, quiet pursuit. And finally, playing sports, like basketball. Physical activity, teamwork, fun.
So a really good mix. Something for the mind, body, creativity, social connection. Covers a lot of bases for well-being. Now, what about the specific self-care routine?
It's quite detailed. Starts with a daily skincare routine. Taking care of the physical self can be a mindful ritual too.
And relaxing hot baths. A classic way to unwind, release tension.
Definitely soothing. Regular exercise is mentioned again here under self-care, emphasizing its role in both physical and mental health. It's clearly a cornerstone.
And prioritizing adequate sleep. Absolutely fundamental, non-negotiable, really.
Crucial for everything. Mindful breathing and meditation again, specifically as self-care tools for stress management and grounding.
Being present and disconnecting from technology for periods. That's a big one for many of us.
A necessary break from constant stimulation. Journaling is highlighted too, reflecting on thoughts, feelings, processing things.
Good for self-awareness. A balanced diet. Another fundamental act of self-care. Fueling your body well.
And engaging in hobbies and leisure, those things that bring joy and relaxation. Making time for play.
Setting boundaries is mentioned too. Learning to say no, protecting your time and energy.
Hugely important for preventing overwhelm and burnout. Expressing gratitude, regularly cultivating that positive mindset.
Focusing on the good stuff. Spending quality time with loved ones, nurturing those connections.
Essential for our sense of belonging and support. Self-reflection and goal setting for purpose and growth.
Actively working on personal development and making time for activities that simply bring joy. Little pleasures.
Don't underestimate those. Regular self-checks, tuning into your physical and emotional state. Being aware of your needs.
Practicing self-compassion and forgiveness. Being kind to yourself, especially when things are tough.
So important. Occasional treats or indulgences, celebrating small wins. Practicing self-kindness.
A little reward now and then. Nature walks. Spending time outdoors, connecting with the environment.
Very restorative. And importantly, seeking professional support, like therapy, when needed. Recognizing that asking for help is strength.
Absolutely, mental health is key. Finally, embracing a positive mindset, maybe using affirmations, shaping your outlook.
That internal dialogue makes a big difference. It's a very comprehensive view of self-care, isn't it? Nurturing yourself in many different ways.
It really covers all angles. Okay, what about social engagement? How does that fit into the picture?
Well, it starts by acknowledging the inherent value of social interactions, that basic human need for connection.
Fundamental for happiness and belonging. And respecting others' boundaries is emphasized. Key for healthy relationships.
Absolutely. Mutual respect. Being a good listener is highlighted too. Really hearing people.
Active listening fosters understanding, strengthens bonds, and actively seeking opportunities to meet new people, expanding your circle.
Keeping life interesting, opening doors to new perspectives and friendships, and recognizing and appreciating diverse perspectives is mentioned. Empathy, understanding, broadens your own worldview. Finally, it notes that socializing helps with relaxation and provides a break from daily pressures. It contributes to overall happiness.
So it's not just nice to have, it's actually a vital part of well-being.
Good point. Okay, let's move towards the end of the day. The night routine. Right. Winding down from work or study around 6 p.m. seems to be the goal. Creating that separation.
Setting a clear boundary. And then engaging in calming activities, reading, maybe some relaxing TV, though they caution about screens later.
That gradual transition is important. Family dinner and discussion is highlighted, reinforcing connection.
Sharing the day, connecting before bed, and then the specific advice. Avoid screen time for at least an hour before sleep.
The blue light issue interferes with melatonin, disrupts sleep. Tough habit to break, but important.
Very. Establishing a consistent bedtime routine is key. Brushing teeth, skincare, signals to the body it's time to wind down.
Consistency helps regulate that internal clock, the circadian rhythm. Enjoying herbal tea is mentioned, a calming ritual.
Sounds nice and cozy. Reflecting on the day, maybe journaling, getting thoughts out of your head before sleep.
Mental decluttering prevents that racing mind feeling. Gentle stretching or yoga to release physical tension.
Preparing the body for rest. Laying out clothes for the next day, streamlining the morning.
Reduces morning stress and decision fatigue. Creating a comfortable sleep environment, dim lights, calming scents. Setting the stage.
Making the bedroom a sanctuary for sleep. Limiting caffeine late in the day. Obvious, but crucial.
Caffeine's effects can last for hours. Listening to calming music or nature sounds.
Creating a peaceful atmosphere. Occasional short meditation before bed, more relaxation.
Reinforcing mindfulness right up to sleep. Using blackout curtains for darkness.
Darkness is key for melatonin production. Taking a warm bath, relaxing, and the temperature drop afterwards helps signal sleep.
Connecting with loved ones, briefly ending the day feeling connected.
Comforting. Practicing gratitude, again focusing on positives before sleep.
Can lead to a more peaceful feeling as you drift off. Reading a physical book or listening to an audiobook. Careful with devices. Gentle distraction.
And keeping electronic devices out of the bedroom altogether. A big one for good sleep hygiene.
Minimizes temptation and disruption. And finally, maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, same bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends.
Regulates that internal clock. Consistency is really the thread running through all these routines, isn't it?
It seems to be. Okay, one more major section on routines. Reflection and planning. This seems like an ongoing process for them.
Right. Setting aside time daily for reflection, reviewing achievements, challenges. Journaling is key here again.
Processing the day, gaining self-awareness, and weekly reflection sessions too for a bigger picture view. Are daily actions aligning with larger goals?
Stepping back to see the forest, not just the trees. Using a planner is mentioned, organizing tasks, staying on track.
Essential for effective planning. Reflecting on past experiences, both good and bad, to learn and grow, turning failures into lessons.
That growth mindset again. Strategic planning, setting short-term and long-term goals. Creating a roadmap.
Gives direction and motivation. Regularly updating to-do lists and plans, staying current and productive.
It's dynamic, not static. Periodic goal reviews, adjusting as needed, staying relevant.
Essential for adapting to change. Breaking down large projects into smaller steps that comes up again makes things achievable.
Seems like a core principle for them. Reflecting on failures constructively, seeing them as learning opportunities, building resilience.
Creating a vision board is mentioned, a visual representation of goals can be very motivating.
Keeping aspirations front and center. Mind mapping for brainstorming and planning complex ideas. Visual thinking.
Great for exploring connections. Considering short and long-term consequences in decision-making. Strategic thinking.
Thinking ahead. Reflecting on successes too. building confidence, reinforcing positive actions.
Important not to just focus on challenges. And finally, planning for downtime and rest. Essential for balance and preventing burnout. So it's not just planning work, it's planning rest too. A truly balanced approach. Now, the transcript shifts quite dramatically into language-focused content, vocabulary first.
Whoa, yeah. This section is massive. A huge list of vocabulary words with definitions. It's like a mini dictionary embedded here.
It is remarkably comprehensive, starting with abundant, meaning plentiful, and going right through the alphabet to zealous, meaning enthusiastic.
It looks like a fantastic resource for English learners. Words like adversary, alleviate, ambiguous, amiable, arduous. These are really useful, aren't they?
Absolutely. They cover a wide range of concepts, descriptions, actions. Auspicious, brusque, candid, censor, conscious, comprehensive. The list just keeps going.
It's quite systematic. Consolidate, conundrum, convey, cumbersome. Each one adds a bit more nuance to your potential expression.
And it continues like that: defer, deleterious, diligent, discrepancy, dismantle. You can see how mastering these would significantly boost someone's English level.
Eloquent, empathy, endorse, exacerbate, explicit. Words for communication, understanding, describing impact.
Impartial, incisive, indigenous, inherent, judicious, covering concepts related to fairness, sharpness, origin, core qualities, wisdom.
He really is thorough. Juxtapose, lament, lavish, lethargic, liable, lucid, lucrative. A real mix of descriptive and conceptual terms.
Magnanimous, mediocre, meticulous, mundane, notorious, obsolete, ornate. Describing character, quality, detail, everyday life, reputation, age, decoration.
Paramount, parsimonious, patronized, peculiar, perpetuate, perfunctory, pertinent. Importance, thriftiness, condescension, strangeness, continuation, indifference, relevance. It's impressive.
Placid, plausible, precarious, prevalent, procrastinate, profound, propel. Calmness, believability, danger, commonness, delaying, depth, movement.
Prudent, pungent, quell, ramification, rancid, raucous, ravenous. Wisdom, strong smells, charms, impression, consequence, spoiled, loud, extreme hunger.
Rebuff, rebut, recalcitrant, recluse, redundant, refute, relinquish, remorse. Rejection, counter-argument, defiant, solitary, unnecessary, disprove, give up, regret.
Reprimand, resilient, retract, ruthless, sagacious, salient, sanction, sardonic, saturate, scant, scrutinized, stary, sedentary, serene, shrewd, singular, sinister, skeptical, sluggish, sporadic, stagnant, steadfast, stealthy, stern, stoic, stringent, superficial, surreptitious, succinct, sullen, superfluous, surmise, susceptible, sycophant, tacit, tactful, tangible, tantamount, tedious, tenacious, tentative, terse, threadbare, thwart, timorous, torpid, transient, trepidation, trivial, tumultuous, ubiquitous, uncanny, unassuming, unkempt, unprecedented, unpretentious, unruly, unyielding, urbane, usurp, vacillate, vagrant, valiant, vapid, vehement, vindicate, vivid, wary, whimsical, and zealous. Wow, that's a lot.
It's an incredible list, a serious vocabulary building tool. And right after that, it jumps into English idioms.
Ah, idioms. The fun, sometimes confusing, but really colorful part of the language. They list a ton of these too, explaining them, like barking up the wrong tree.
Meaning pursuing the wrong path or idea, or batten down the hatches, prepare for trouble.
Bite the hand that feeds you, being ungrateful or harmful to someone helping you.
Right.
Cautionary.
Blaze a trail, being a pioneer. Break a leg, the classic good luck wish for performers.
Break the ice, easing tension in a new social situation. Burn bridges, damaging relationships permanently.
By the skin of your teeth, a narrow escape. Call a spade, speak directly, frankly.
Call it a day, finish work. Cat's out of the bag, reveal a secret. Or let the cat out of the bag. They list both, I think.
Yes, they do. Chipped on your shoulder, holding a grudge. Chup, chup, hurry up.
Clear the air, resolve a misunderstanding. Cool as a cucumber, very calm under pressure.
Costs an arm and a leg, very expensive. Couch potato, someone inactive, watches lots of TV.
Cry over spilled milk, worrying about something unchangeable. Curiosity killed a cat, warning against being too nosy.
Cut corners, doing something cheaply, sacrificing quality. Dark horse, unexpected winner.
Dead as a doornail, definitely dead or broken. Devil's advocate arguing the opposite side for discussion.
Dime a dozen, very common, not special. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't assume success too early.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't risk everything on one thing. Drag your feet. Be slow or reluctant.
Draw blank. Can't remember. Drop in the bucket. Tiny amount compared to what's needed.
Dutch courage. Bravery from alcohol. Elephant in the room. Obvious problem nobody discusses.
Every cloud has a silver lining. Something good in every bad situation. Face the music, accept consequences.
Fair weather friend. Only around during good times. Far cry from. Very different.
Feather in your cap, an achievement to be proud of. Feel under the weather, feel slightly ill.
50-50 equals shares her chances. Fish out of water. Uncomfortable in an unfamiliar situation.
Fly off the handle. Lose your temper suddenly. Food for thought, something to think about seriously.
Get a taste of your own medicine. Experience the bad treatment you gave others. Get something off your chest. Talk about a worry to feel better.
Get your ducks in a row. Get organized. Give someone the cold shoulder. Ignore someone deliberately.
Go the extra mile. Do more than expected. Green thumb. Good at gardening.
Have a bone to pick. Have a complaint to discuss. Have eyes in the back of your head. Be very aware of surroundings.
Have your head in the clouds. Be unrealistic or daydreaming. Hear the grapevine. Hear rumors.
Hit the books. Study hard. Hit the nail on the head. Be exactly right.
Hold your horses. Wait. Be patient. In a pickle. In a difficult situation.
In hot water. In trouble. Jump the gun. Start too early.
Paper chin up. Stay positive. Keep your fingers crossed. Hope for good luck.
Keep something under your hat. Keep a secret. Know the ropes. Be familiar with the procedure or job.
Last straw. The final problem that causes a collapse. Let sleeping dogs lie. Don't stir up old trouble.
Long shot. Very unlikely to succeed. Look before you leap. Think carefully before acting.
Hang New Year marbles. Go crazy. And make a long story short, get to the point quickly.
Miss the boat. Miss an opportunity. Nip it in the bud. Stop a problem early.
No pain, no gain. Effort is needed for success. Not my cup of tea. Not something I like.
On cloud nine, extremely happy. On the ball, alert and competent.
Once in a blue moon, very rarely. Open a can of worms. Create new complex problems.
Out of the blue, unexpectedly. Out of the woods, out of danger or difficulty.
Over the moon, extremely happy again. Piece of cake. Very easy.
Play it by ear. Improvise. Decide as you go. Pull someone's leg. Tease someone.
Put a sock in it. Impolite way to say be quiet. Rain on someone's parade. Spoil someone's enthusiasm.
See eye to eye, agree. Sit tight. Wait patiently.
Speak of the devil, said when someone you just mentioned appears. Spill the beans. Reveal a secret.
Stick to your guns. Maintain your position despite opposition. Take a rain check. Postpone an invitation.
Take with a grain of salt. Be skeptical about something. The ball is in your court. It's your turn to act.
The best of both worlds, advantages of two different things. The early bird catches the worm. Acting early is advantageous.
The pot calling the kettle black. Criticizing someone for a fault you also have. Through thick and thin. In good times and bad.
Tie the knot. Get married. Time flies when you're having fun. Time passes quickly during enjoyable activities.
Tip of the iceberg. Small, visible part of a bigger problem. To make matters worse, adding to difficulties.
Up the creek without a paddle. In trouble with no solution. When it rains, it pours. Bad things happen together.
Whole 9 yards, everything. Wild goose chase. Futile pursuit.
Word of mouth. Information spread by talking. Wrap your head around something, understand something complex.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Can't have two conflicting benefits. You can't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge by appearance. Wow, and the list goes on with even more proverbs. It's incredibly thorough.
It really is. A goldmine for learners wanting to sound more neutral. After idioms, it moves into grammar, specifically modal verbs.
Right. This part seems very structured, explaining have to for present obligation. Like, I have to finish this report. They give the structure. Subject plus have to plus base verb.
And then had to for past obligation. I had to work late yesterday. Same structure, just past tense. Clearly laid out.
Then can. This one has multiple uses, doesn't it? Polite requests, can I help? Past ability, he could swim well. Permission, we could go out. And the negative cannot for prohibition. You cannot smoke here.
It's versatile, and they follow it with could, which is often trickier. Polite requests, again, maybe slightly more formal. Could you pass the salt? Past ability, she could speak Spanish. Earlier permission, we could watch TV. And making things less direct, I could be wrong, but that subtlety between can and could is important.
Yeah, getting the politeness level right. Then must. Strong obligation, you must wear a helmet. Strong recommendation, you must see this film. Certainty, he's not answering, he must be out. And must not for prohibition, you must not cheat. Stronger than should not.
Definitely carries more force. And speaking of should, that's next. Future actions with you, I should call him. Advice, you should rest. Expectation, it should arrive tomorrow. Obligation, but less strong than must, you should be on time. And conditionals, if it should rain. Lots of uses for should.
It seems more flexible than must. Finally, would. Conditionals. If I knew, I would tell you. Past habits. We would always go there. Polite requests in reported speech. He asked if I would help. And willingness or preference. I would rather stay home.
Again, covering those nuances of conditionality, politeness, past routines, it's a very solid grammatical overview of these key verbs with good examples, very useful for learners.
Definitely helps clarify things. Okay, after grammar, the transcript dives into cooking verbs.
Yes, quite a specific category, but relevant to daily life. It defines verbs like bake, cook in the oven, beat, stir rapidly like eggs.
Boil, cook in boiling water. Broil, cook with direct heat from above. Chop, cut into pieces.
Grill up, informal for grill. Knead, working dough. Mash, crushing food like potatoes.
Melt, solid to liquid via heat. Mince, chop very finely like garlic. Mix, combine ingredients.
Peel, remove skin. Roast, cook in oven, often meat veg. Sauté, cook quickly in hot fat.
Simmer, cook gently below boiling. Slice, cut into thin pieces. Steam, cook over boiling water.
Stir fry, cook quickly in a wok, stirring. Tenderize, make meat softer. Whisk, beat with a whisk to add air.
And then more specialized ones. Carve meat, braise, brown, then simmer slowly. Crack open eggs, crush garlic, dice into cubes, grate cheese, trim fat.
It's a practical vocabulary list for anyone interested in food or cooking, and following that, there are verbs related to travel and work study.
Right, another practical section. For travel, verbs like booked, took a train, bought souvenirs, went on a cruise, hiked, rented a car, attended a festival. Actions involved in traveling.
And future travel verbs, too. Need to book, planning to visit, hope to go, saving for, covers the whole travel cycle from planning to dreaming.
And then work study verbs. A huge list here. Things like send, email, attends, conferences, developed software, takes, breaks, have, a deadline, need to prepare, presentation, reviews, reports, analyze data, basic work actions.
And more. Work from home, schedules, meetings, implemented strategies, negotiates with clients, discuss ideas, study at university, teaches English, covering different roles and tasks.
For students, attend lectures, writing, thesis, takes exams, need to finish assignment, doing research, participate in study groups, academic life verbs.
Gave a presentation, submit papers online, use the library, gives lessons, preparing for exams, enrolled in a course, very specific to education.
Have discussions, take notes, completed the course, applying for scholarships, studying abroad. And then it seems to branch out into hobbies and daily life verbs, too.
Yes, it becomes quite broad. Joined a club, enjoys drawing, visited galleries, run, enjoys baking, do puzzles, plays, games, watch shows, go to gym, follows a diet, drinks, water, practice meditation, do yoga, avoids sugar, have checkups, lifts, weights, take vitamins, try to reduce stress, prepare meals, takes breaks, avoid junk food, cycles to work, maintain a diet, health and lifestyle.
And even shopping and technology verbs. Need to buy groceries, went shopping, browse, need to get haircut, bought a dress, looking for furniture, enjoys window shopping, found a deal, need to return, is shopping, ordered takeout, is buying a gift, everyday commerce.
And tech, install, software, use, need to charge, is setting up, created YouTube channel, really covers a vast range of common daily actions and verbs. It provides excellent contextual vocabulary.
Absolutely, huge list. Okay, next up is descriptive language, making things vivid.
Yes, this section provides examples of adjectives and imagery for people. Curly hair, prominent chin, piercing blue eyes, thick-rimmed glasses, tousled hair, creating visual details.
And for places and things. Deep turquoise ocean, long swaying branches, majestic mountain range, sprawling cityscape, vibrant display, evoking scenes and atmosphere.
Some describe sounds or qualities, booming voice, contagious laugh. Others focus on objects or attire. Flowing floral dress, colorful parrot, sleek black suit.
Architecture and environment, impressive glass and steel structure, bustling marketplace, winding cobblestone streets, charming cafes, serene gardens, tranquil ponds, towering skyscrapers, shimmering lights, iconic landmarks, historic architecture, vibrant street art, magnificent bridge, stunning view. Really paints a picture.
Personal details or style. Bold red lipstick, dramatic black dress, historical structures, majestic fortress, imposing walls, towering turrets, animals, fluffy ball of fur, bright green eyes, loyal companion, soft brown fur, wagging tail, Delicate creature, beautiful and fragile wings.
Personal qualities and presence.
Okay.
Imposing presence, firm handshake, deep voice, jovial personality, sharp intellect, trick wit, gentle touch, quiet heart, sharp tongue, heart of gold, humble demeanor, untamed spirit, insightful mind, quick reasoning, sharp sense of humor, spirited remark, describing character.
Landscapes and nature. Picturesque beach, white sand, clear water, snow-capped peaks, rugged terrain, rushing force of nature, breathtaking canyon, powerful display of nature, majestic display of water and light.
Abstract concepts or feelings, contagious energy, eager for adventure, hypnotic effect, classic beauty, evoking nostalgia, playground for sun, sand, and sea, endless possibilities, lively conversation, warm embrace, radiant smile, twinkling eyes, capturing feelings and potential.
Art and creativity, vibrant colors, bold brushstrokes, cascades of vibrant colors, intricate patterns, tool of creativity, capture the beauty, single frame, taste and texture, layers of irresistible flavor and sweetness, machinery, sleek machine, designed for speed and agility, history, historic landmark, intricate details, rich history. It's a real toolkit for descriptive writing and speaking.
Absolutely, loads of great options there. And then they talk about intensifiers and contrasts, making descriptions stronger.
Exactly. Using stronger adjectives and adverbs. Instead of just beautiful, maybe exquisitely beautiful. Instead of scared, absolutely petrified.
Deafening voice instead of very loud noise. Atrocious decision instead of very bad decision. Upping the impact.
Utterly empty, delightfully mischievous, perfectly smooth, truly adore, vibrant red, ultimate player, effortlessly clear. Adding that extra layer of intensity or precision.
And using adverbs with verbs too. Significantly delay, completely preserve, immensely wide, promptly reply, consistently eat, making the action more specific or impactful.
Thoroughly review, effectively regulate, formally draft, relentlessly chase, gently nibble, softly chuckle, carefully select, warmly burn, easily capable, abundantly flourish, unfairly accuse, swiftly conclude. It shows how choosing the right intensifier can really sharpen your meaning.
It adds a lot more color and force. Good techniques. Okay, sentence structure is next. Simple, compound, complex.
Yes, breaking down the basics. Simple sentences first. One independent clause, one complete thought. Examples like, the cat sleeps, I enjoy reading, the sun sets. Clear and direct.
Lots of examples given to illustrate that basic structure. Then compound sentences, connecting two independent clauses with conjunctions like and, but, or, so, for, nor, yet.
Right. She studied, and she passed. I wanted to go, but it rained. He could stay home, or he could go out, showing coordination between ideas.
Again, plenty of examples using different conjunctions to show contrast, cause-effect, options, reasons. Very clear.
And finally, complex sentences. One independent clause plus at least one dependent clause, linked by subordinating conjunctions like while, if, because, although, when, after, etc.
Showing relationships like time, cause, condition, concession. While she was studying, he cooked dinner. If it rains, we'll stay home. They were late because they missed the train.
Exactly. It explains how these structures allow for more nuanced and intricate expression of ideas. Understanding these building blocks is fundamental for developing fluency.
Makes sense. Helps you vary your sentences and express more complex thoughts. Okay, after sentence structure. More food. Food vocabulary this time.
Yes, a list of specific food items starts with avocado, cilantro, carrot, tomato, beetroot, cheese, ginger, broccoli, apricot, asparagus, almond, basil, orange, radish, lettuce, plum, cucumber, fruits, vegetables, herbs, nuts, dairy.
Then mackerel, bay leaf, peach, fried chicken, walnuts, chicken, courgette or zucchini, scallops, lemon, salmon, lobster, peas, rhubarb, kale, fig, coriander, cilantro again, fish, poultry, seafood, more veg and fruit.
And some snacks and treats, popcorn, waffles, pretzel, marshmallows, cornflakes, cake, and finally octopus. It's a diverse list covering many common food items. Useful vocabulary for everyday life.
Definitely. Makes me hungry just reading it. Okay, the last big section seems to be conversational excerpts, snippets of dialogue.
That's right. Short dialogues between pairs of people on various topics gives a flavor of natural conversation. First is Sam and Ethan getting to know each other. Sam's move from small town to city for uni, culture shock, working in software, family back home.
Relatable stuff, transitions, careers, family. Then Mike and Charlie on outdoor hobbies. Mike's gap year travel, carpentry trade, passion for hiking, camping, kayaking, solo backpacking trip.
Shows alternative paths, passion for outdoors, self-reliance. Adam and Michael talking travel plans. Michael's backpacking idea for Southeast Asia, Adam's more planned approach, but intrigued by spontaneity.
Different travel styles. Desire for cultural experience. Jake and Max on movies. Jake mentions dinner. Protejan recommends a thriller, Retribution. Max recommends an indie drama, The Farewell.
Sharing personal details, cultural interests, food, film. Matt and Chris discussing TV shows, The Crown, Constellation. Shared entertainment, anticipating future episodes.
Common ground through media. Dave and Tom on books. Dave's too busy. Tom recommends Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude.
Sharing literary tastes, encouraging reading despite busy lives. Ben and Alex on music. Synthwave versus Arctic Monkeys, recommending Tash Sultana. Discovering and sharing music.
Connecting through musical taste. Mark and Alex on gadgets. Mark's excited about new tech. Foldable phone, smart home. Alex is using older stuff but interested.
Pace of technology, consumer choices. Ken and Lisa on cultural traditions, Japanese tea ceremony. Fascination with mindfulness, simplicity, art within culture.
Appreciation for other cultures. Eric and Ryan on preserving cultural identity alongside diversity. Importance of traditions for values and identity.
Balancing heritage and modern global influences. Daniel and David on dreams and aspirations. Daniel's tech startup for sustainable energy. David's photography and world travel dream. Ambition, passion, creativity, environmental concern. Mike and Sarah on overcoming challenges. Mike losing his job but starting a successful company. Sarah finding a new career after a setback. Resilience, turning adversity into opportunity.
Inspiring stories of bouncing back. Adam and Matt on relationships, both happy in their current relationships. Importance of personal connections.
Simple, positive updates on personal life. And Eric and Ryan again on future plans. Eric's renewable energy business. Ryan's desire to travel Europe. Excitement for the future.
Ambition and wanderlust. These snippets really do cover a lot of everyday human experience, don't they?
They provide relatable context and show language being used naturally in different scenarios. Finally, the transcript mentions an English language level quiz.
Ah, yes, the final piece. So it's a multiple choice quiz to help learners figure out their level.
Exactly. Divided into 6 levels, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, following the standard European framework. Each level has 10 questions testing vocabulary, grammar, comprehension.
And it's timed. 5 seconds per question. Sounds like a quick check-in.
Yes. Seems designed as a quick assessment tool. The transcript describes its format and purpose, but doesn't actually include the quiz questions themselves.
Got it. So it just points towards that resource being part of the original video content. Okay. Wow. That really covers everything in the transcript, doesn't it?
It does. It's been a truly comprehensive exploration, from the micro details of daily habits to broad language learning resources. We've touched on morning routines, work-study habits, evening wind-downs, exercise, productivity hacks, leisure, self-care, socializing, reflection, planning.
And then dive deep into vocabulary lists, idiom explanations, grammar rules for modal verbs, specific verb categories for cooking, travel, work, study, descriptive language techniques, intensifiers, sentence structures, food names, and finally those conversational examples. Phew.
Our goal, as always, for you, the learner, was to distill all that information, make it accessible, and hopefully spark some useful ideas or insights without overwhelming you. This transcript was certainly a very rich source.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this very deep dive today. We really appreciate you sticking with us through all of that detail. And just one last little reminder, if you did find this helpful, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. It helps us keep bringing you these detailed explorations.
And perhaps, as a final thought to leave you with, reflecting on everything we've discussed, the routines, the strategies, the language points, what's one small, concrete change you could introduce into your own day? Maybe it's trying a 5-minute mindfulness practice, or writing down 3 priorities before you start work, or perhaps consciously using one new idiom or vocabulary word you heard today.
Yeah, great point. Often it's those small, consistent steps that lead to the biggest improvements in well-being, productivity, or even language learning. Think about what that one small step could be for you. Thanks again for diving deep with us.